Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to be unlocking a hidden language, a language of numbers that some people believe is encoded directly into the Bible itself.
We're going to explore this ancient practice that suggests there's a whole mathematical layer just simmering beneath the surface of these texts you know so well. I mean, most of us know the really obvious ones, right? You've got the 7 days of creation, the 40 days of testing. These numbers just pop up so often you can't help but feel they're significant. But that's where the question gets really interesting. It takes us way deeper into this world of really intricate numerical patterns, patterns that some people argue are just way too complex to be a coincidence.
Okay, so first things first, let's push past that simple symbolism and really dig into the meaning behind some of these famous biblical numbers. And you've seen this all the time, for sure. The number 3, it almost always points to divine perfection, like the Trinity. 7 tends to signal spiritual completion. 12 represents God's authority. Think about the 12 tribes of Israel or the 12 apostles. And then there's 40. That one almost always marks a period of testing or getting ready for something big.
But look, that's surface-level stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's get into the system that believers say is powering all of this, the codebook of gematria.
Okay, so this system is called gematria, and it's actually pretty simple at its core. Here's how it works. Back in the day, in ancient Hebrew and Greek, they didn't have separate symbols for numbers like we do, 1, 2, 3. There are letters of the alphabet pulled double duty. So what that means is that every single word and every phrase has a numerical value. And that's where people started to find these, potentially hidden connections.
So let's take an example. In Hebrew, the word for love, that's ahava, it adds up to a gematria value of 13.
Now, get this. The Hebrew word for one, echad, like in the phrase, the Lord is one, also has a value of 13.
Okay, and this is where it gets really mind-bending. You add those two concepts together, right? Love, 13, and oneness, 13. You get 26. And guess what? That is the exact numerical value of God's most sacred name, YHW. It's almost like a mathematical equation that says the very essence of God is the sum of love and unity. Pretty wild, right?
So, what happens when we start applying this same code to some of the Bible's really big players? Let's take a look. Okay, so proponents of gematria point to this one as just stunning. In Hebrew, the word Mashiach, which means Messiah, has a numerical value of 358. Now, unbelievably, so does the word Nahash, which is the serpent from the Garden of Eden. The exact same number.
Now, the argument here isn't that this is some random coincidence. It's seen as a really profound theological statement, written in math. You've got the problem, the serpent, and the solution, the Messiah, and they have the exact same numerical weight. It's like a perfectly balanced equation. And we see this kind of duality again using the Greek version of this system, which is called isophesi. The name Jesus, or Isus in Greek, calculates out to 888. And this is seen as being in direct, intentional opposition to that really infamous number 666, the number of the beast.
All right, now we're going to ramp it up. Let's look at what many people consider the most profound piece of evidence for this whole mathematical design idea. The blueprint that's supposedly hidden in the Bible's very first sentence. So yeah, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning. You know the one. In the original Hebrew, it's just 7 words long.
So if you take those 7 Hebrew words and you add up all their gematria values, you get a grand total of 2,701.
Okay, so the number 2,701, it just seems random, right? But mathematically, it is anything but. It's incredibly structured. For starters, it's the product of 2 prime numbers, 37 times 73. But even crazier, it's what mathematicians call a triangular number. So what that means is if you had 2,701 little dots, you could arrange them into a perfect geometric triangle with exactly 73 dots on each side. I mean, what are the odds?
But hold on, because the climax of this whole theory connects the Old and the New Testaments. Proponents point out that the very first verse of John's Gospel, "In the beginning was the Word," has a gematria value of 3,627. Now here is the absolutely incredible part. That number, 3,627, can form a specific geometric shape called a trapezium. And that triangle we just talked about from Genesis 1:1, it fits perfectly on top of it. Together, they create one single, larger, unified triangle. It's like a symbolic, mathematical bridge linking the two testaments into one structure. So you can imagine. This idea of a hidden geometric and numerical code has led researchers to look for even deeper patterns, stuff that goes way beyond just gematria.
And some of the claims get pretty wild. Some researchers say they've found fundamental mathematical constants. We're talking pi, Euler's number, encoded right inside the gematria of these exact same verses, and not just kind of close, calculated to a high degree of accuracy. We're talking thousands of years before they were officially discovered by mathematicians.
So where does that leave us? I mean, the crucial point is, how do you interpret all of this? Is it proof of a deliberate, divine fingerprint literally woven into the fabric of Scripture? Is it the work of some hyper-intelligent ancient scribes who had a mastery of mathematics we can't even fathom? Or is it just a profound example of the human mind's incredible, maybe even desperate ability to find patterns and meaning in any set of data you give it? The numbers, they're there. What they actually mean, well, that's the ultimate question, isn't it?